think we're live.
We are live here, Whisper Nation. Welcome to this Saturday show. The Saturday show. Saturday. September was a couple of months ago. November 7th. Here we are. Welcome, Whisper Nation. We are so freaking excited to have you here. Do we have monetization on for this episode? Does that mean this is an NSFW?
The
We
TV died. I think the
TV
live stream's
died.
good.
The stream is still going. Is there a way to make sure that we've got the TV live? If it doesn't matter for you, it only matters a little bit for us. So this is the Saturday show, Whisper Nation. You've been joining us for years now as we dive deep into the takes, news, and nuggets around the league, helping you get prepared. This is going to be a little bit different of a show. What we're focused on here is to take a moment to just appreciate the community, the bond that fantasy football creates for all of us members who play year in and year out. And speaking of year in, year out, we know that we've all got some intense memories, some joyous moments, some tragic ones as well. We wanted to go ahead and hop through some of these. So we've got the whiteboard down here. We're going to be taking a look through some of the deeper dive questions that we got here, along with myself, Austin Sear, Johnny Game Time Hicks, and Big Travy here, who's getting the TV set up so our production can move forward as seamlessly as
we got to please wait on the screen. We got to please wait, which is good news. We are getting that back up. Happy Saturday, dude.
Johnny
Happy
Game Time Hicks,
Saturday.
man. Happy Saturday.
Dude, I'm so excited about this because this is going to be different. This is going to be us just talking about fantasy football and not in like in a different way, you know? It's like it is definitely going to be us talking about what makes fantasy football great, the stories that root deep into us about fantasy football. We'll share that.
Right?
We love the stats. That's great. But there's a reason why we started doing the stats and getting into that. We're going to dive into that part today.
Stats aren't what keep you coming back.
Yeah.
It's the stories and the people and the emotions that tie all of it together. And that's what we wanted to take a little bit of time to jump into, the emotion that bonds week 1 through 16 together.
Well, most of the people don't get to week 16.
We all get to it, right? And that's sometimes we've all watched the championship game that's happened, and you might not be in it, and it's like, damn, I don't even. It's a lonely feeling being in the championship game.
It is.
Right? It's a lonely feeling, and I know Travis here, who's been in so many of them, of our championship games, our current league of record champion, is getting his life situated right now, but he could tell you.
Hold on. He's known all day. He's known all day that we are going live for this show, and yet he still doesn't have the championship belt out here. That's unbelievable.
He's excited to bring that one.
I'm calling him out for it. I'm calling him out.
But while he's getting ready here, we've got our whiteboard here. Johnny's got it right in front of him. He could give you a gesture for the
Sure.
whiteboard that we
right
have
here. Gesture.
The first question we have on here is your best fantasy win. Your best fantasy win. And Whisper Nation, hit us up with your questions. Share your answers to these questions along in the chat. We got Philly Chelsea over here, who's handling a lot of our production. What's that? Working the chat. Philly Chelsea here helping to work the chat, helping to get these questions onto the show. But best fantasy win. Johnny, you might have had the most recent best fantasy win I've ever seen. My entire 10-year fantasy football playing career.
It was pretty wild. It was pretty epic. I would agree. It was the most insane victory I've ever had in my life. I wished it
this year, all time.
All time. And I've been playing for 10 plus years for fantasy football. So that's a lot of games and a lot of leagues. And league of record, it was a couple weeks ago. Kenyon Drake came down to a Monday night game, and I'm down by 30 plus points going into Monday night game. No, sorry.
Who was playing for you?
Heading into Monday, the whole entire day, I had Pat Mahomes, I had the Kansas City Chiefs defense, I had Kenyon Drake, and then I also had Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, picked him up off waivers day before, right? David Saturday night. I picked him up off waivers. I was like, I need a dart throw. Here it is. This should be against Dallas. All right, let's go, right? Going into Monday, I'm down 70 points.
70 points.
Going into Monday night. This is not a PPR league. This is a standard league.
And
so
all
that's
4 guys you have left?
Yeah, that's and he has DeAndre Hopkins.
He's got maybe the best wide receiver in the league. You got 4 guys going, but you're down 70.
70, right? And, we talk. I mean, we had our Monday show, and we talked afterwards. Hey, what do you need? This is what I said. And Big Travy was like, you're not getting it, dude. You have no chance. I was like, hey, I got a lucky penny. I'll tell you that. I got the lucky penny.
Oh, God, lucky penny.
So fast forward Monday night, right? I get the 80-yard bomb. When I get the 80-yard bomb to Christian Kirk for a touchdown, I'm like, oh, I got a chance. I might have a slim chance, but I got a chance, right?
And this is Arizona versus Dallas.
Arizona versus Dallas. Fast forward, there is a 2-minute warning. I am down by 11 points. I'm down by 11 points. 2-minute warning left in the game. Cardinals are up heavily, right? All they need is a first down to sock away the game. And if they get it, the game is over. They're just going to kneel, right?
And you need 11 points.
I need
There's
11.
Less than 2 minutes to go. The Cardinals have a sizable lead over the Dallas Cowboys. They're essentially just looking to get forward and then kneel the clock out.
Yes.
You are 11 points down.
I'm 11 points down. And I kid you not, they broke the huddle. And I don't know if it was like a sign of what was meant to be, if it's now that I'm just looking too much into it because it happened. But when they broke the huddle, you can go check the tape. I swear, Kyler Murray looks at Kenyon Drake and they mutter, I'm only assuming he mutters, hey, if you break through, are you going all the way to a touchdown? Because you look at him and he goes, I'm going all the way. And he motions all the way. And I'm like, oh, this might have a chance. Like, if he breaks this, I might have a chance. Still not, I'm like, it's slim, right?
Of course.
All of a sudden,
He also muttered, this is for John Hicks.
Yeah.
100%, because he's my boy. It's Drake. It's my boy. So, hikes the ball. I see the lane, and I literally start jumping up and down, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. Is this going to happen, right? And then, I'm not going to lie, the whole entire time, he's running, and I just see him break free. There's no safety. I knew that because it was jailbreak. I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna make this. He's gonna do it. I was so worried about the turf monster. I knew the turf monster was still there.
Daniel Jones, turf monster's always hungry.
So when he officially made it to the touchdown, I was screaming. I'm surprised my neighbors didn't call the police because I was screaming at the top of my lungs. Couldn't believe it. That gave me, so with that touchdown, it gave me 13 points. I needed 11 and some change. It gave me 13, so I ended up winning by a point and a half. 2 highest scores of the week. I needed the victory. Wild. It was insane.
And your record going into this game, you had 2 wins or 1 win? You had 2 wins, so this was a huge win.
Yeah.
Put you back in the playoff hunt. It's crazy that his best win ever just a couple weeks ago. I mean, that's why we keep coming back to play this thing, man.
We keep coming.
We come back for the juice.
I got to highlight the one piece Johnny just skimmed over right now, and that is he not only knocked out his opponent by 2 points on a Kenyon Drake 60-yard touchdown run with under 2 minutes to go when the Cardinals had the game locked up, by Drake grabbing that 55-yard touchdown, whatever it was, made Johnny Game Time Hicks the point leader for the week in our league of record, and his opponent was number 2.
That's Trump's got those same feelings right now.
Oh my goodness.
We won't get too political, but seriously.
Johnny became the point leader, knocked out the number 2. Chris Thomas was the point leader before Johnny had Kenyon Drake run that out, win that game, separate himself, get himself a playoff spot, and win a game that nobody thought was even possible.
So we got some people popping in here.
Yeah, we do.
It's early. We got 7 in. We appreciate Whisper Nation coming out. We got Easy Now Boy, Chill Out 808, Jacob Bley, #1 fan. Give it up to Jacob Bley, #1 fan. we would like to thank you guys for coming in here. Hit us with a like if you can, if you're watching. And let's get to some of these questions, huh? I mean, why not?
Yeah. Well, Travis, I want to hear what your...
Well, I want to ask Whisper Nation to chime in what they got there for their best win.
I do like that.
I'd like to ask a little bit what go into a little bit of what Whisper Nation's got going here. So, Easy Now Boy says, can you ask them what their opinions of David Johnson are? You don't even have to ask anybody to ask us, Easy Now. You can ask us, and you just did. What is your opinions of David Johnson?
Look, David Johnson, I love him this week. I think he's a great play this week. And just on a general note, like, he's not going to be super exciting. He's just the guy who gets things done. So as long as you're okay with that, which most people, I mean, I like fantasy points. I mean, I'm sure Travis likes fantasy points. So
I love them.
I think they're super consistent. You have to have one guy in your lineup that you can rely on for fantasy points each and every single week. Not all of the guys can be boom guys each and every single week. So having a guy like David Johnson in there is just super consistent, and he does have the potential to be a boom, right? Like, he can get you the 2 touchdowns and 100 rushing yards.
Yeah, starting running back in Deshaun Watson offense is going to definitely have the ability to get you your upside you want. But I think David Johnson's a guy you can either use for a trade piece to upgrade running back or just chill with that production. Like, sometimes we just need to chill with production. Too often we get obsessed with, like, trading that guy and getting rid of a guy, but the guy's giving you RB2 points. He's giving you production. Like, just chill with that for a little bit. So.
The way I think about sometimes your roster stacking up is head-to-head individual players on your squad versus your opponent's individual players. And it's tough to stack David Johnson up against another running back and say that other running back 100% has the advantage. There's a handful of them there that exist for sure. Dalvin Cook could take you out. Derrick Henry could take you out there. But almost every other running back you'd point to would have some downside you could show that would say, well, you know what? David Johnson has a shot here to get his 13 and get more than pick a running back.
Well, and then you have the elites, right, that have fallen off. You get your guy like Zeke right now. Now, obviously not playing this week, but before that, what were you thinking about Zeke coming in this week? You weren't happy.
No.
You know, but you get a guy like David Johnson, similar to Zeke right now. You're not exactly happy, but production's there.
Does David Johnson's legs look springy? No. Does Todd Gurley's legs look springy? No. Did Todd Gurley get 20 points last game he played? He did. And is there any reason to think that David Johnson can't fall forward for a couple of touchdowns? No. Get 2 touchdowns and 60 yards, you're having a really good day.
I agree. So, Chelsea, if you wouldn't mind scrolling up just a bit here. And honestly, just want to take a moment to thank Philly Chelsea right now.
Jesus
working
Philly
the
Chelsea.
chat.
Woo, woo, woo.
Philly Chelsea, Pennsylvania strong over here.
Oh my God!
Hey, can we get some love for Pennsylvania right now?
Get some love
just
out there.
Because we love
for the folks of
Pennsylvania.
Philly.
Yeah. So we have Easy Now Boy. We got his question. Chill out 808. Who would you start between Thielen and Mclaren? Austin, take this one first, then Johnny follow up.
So we've got Washington playing New York this week, and we have Minnesota playing Detroit Lions. Ooh, that's nice. That's pretty good matchups for both of them over there. You know, if we're stacking up every piece as even, I love the fact that Terry McLaurin is the singular vein. My pause for Adam Thielen comes from the potential reality of Justin Jefferson being the most talented wide receiver in the Minnesota Vikings locker room. Thielen has the pedigree. Thielen has the experience. Thielen's got the track record. But next week is the future. And Jefferson looks to be the future. Terry McLaurin, also the future. Terry McLaurin is also the one that we were bragging about PFF stats of nobody scored higher in the PFF rankings. Of
Just got named team captain. So if you're into the team captain narrative, Terry McLaurin was named team captain this week.
Oh, I'm hella into team captain.
If that gets you bonus, does that get you bonus points? Do we?
No, I put it like this. We've got some really exciting games coming out of Justin Jefferson, who has done things that Terry McLaurin.
He's a bad man.
Hasn't done yet. Like, we haven't seen Terry McLaurin break out for 200
done it
yards,
yet.
But Terry McLaurin is going to be an elite wide receiver, if not this year by the end of it, in the next 2 years for sure. Justin Jefferson is going to be there, I think, as well, but he's still got Thielen, still got that competition. Kyle Allen's coming in. He's chucking the rock. He's doing his thing. There's nobody else who's going to compete. That's the main vein. They don't shy away from it. Short yardage, deep yardage. It's Terry McLaurin. I like his floor. I like his ceiling. I think McLaurin is the call over Thielen.
Before I let Johnny jump right in on that question real quick, I just want to shout out, because I know you guys are coming in hot and fast with the questions.
We'll do our best.
We're going to do our best here. We're chilling by the fire. We're smoking stoves wherever we want. Okay? And it's America. Look, the flag is up. We're rocking it, okay?
I'm
but
wearing
look,
a
I want
tie-dye
to say
shirt
what's
I
up.
made.
Walker, Brett, Fleabit, Peanut Monkey, Mitchell, Stephen Drakes. You guys are all here. We appreciate you. 12 watching, 6 likes. Let's get those likes up, and we will get Gus Ramos, Mitchell, Aiden, the Cat's Pajamas.
Cat's Pajamas.
Some of
there
our
he
favorites
is.
in the chat right now.
Yes.
We will get to your questions. We're just chilling by the fire. Stick with us. We're going to get to those questions. Johnny, McLaurin or Adam Thielen?
I love McLaurin. I love McLaurin so much, but the matchup favors Thielen against Detroit. So I would go with Thielen. That's it. I'm a matchup guy. Yeah. Hey, the data. It's thank Summy for that. Okay, he is the Sultan of stats. He has shown me the way, and hey, this is the way. All right, just like the Mandalorian. So don't question it. All right. So I'm gonna go with Adam Thielen, but I do love me some Terry McLaurin. Don't get me wrong.
We've got Brett saying nice setup. Appreciate that, Brett.
Thank
We
you.
worked hard on this. One question. You guys starting Marvin Jones or Deontay Johnson? Look, I love Marvin Jones because of the narrative that's there with Kenny Golladay. But let's not act like he didn't play games without Kenny Golladay this year and underperform massively.
And if I
for
could
you.
really quickly on this, I was talking to Big Travy during those games because I had picked up Marvin Jones. I was like, oh, man, I got Marvin. Who should I start? And he's like, don't start Marvin. And I was like, fuck you, Travis. No, man, I'm feeling Marvin Jones. This dude's gotten massive points in the past. He's going to be the #1 target. And Travis like, yeah, man, whatever.
He's a
And then
poor man's like old Amari Cooper, where he'd like pop off for 4 touchdowns one week and just like disappear the next.
And that's really what it was. He got me like 67 yards, no touchdowns.
Yeah, so for me, it's Deontay Johnson. We have not seen a game yet where Deontay Johnson doesn't dominate snap share and dominate target share.
Well, and then once again, bring up the matchup. He is going against Diggs. Hey, so he is going against Diggs, who is the corner for Dallas, who has given up 5 tutties on the season and over 500 yards receiving. Deontay Johnson's going to feast.
Deante Johnson has been an exceptionally what a cool surprise, right? Popping in here, looking like just taking it to another level. I mean, Claypool's right there too, but the Steelers have been such an incredible
I just
offense.
have to give us a little bit of a victory lap here. Not a huge surprise if you're listening to the Fantasy Whispers this offseason, because we were talking about this. Look, Deontay Johnson balled out last year with a dumpster fire at quarterback. Okay, like he did things. I think it was the most receiving yards of any rookie wide receiver last year, and that was with 2 crappy quarterbacks for most of the year in Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. So for me, Deontay Johnson continues to be what he is, and that's why Ben looks to him, because he gets open. And against Dallas, he's going to get open. So we've got Fleabit Peanut Monkey saying, sup, fellas, what's going on, man?
What's up, Fleabit Peanut Monkey?
I don't know what that means, but I love the name. Walker says, thoughts on Dez Bryant being activated. Look, Lamar Jackson came out this week and said he can't wait for Dez Bryant to get on the field. Thoughts on that, Johnny?
Unreal. Like, dude can't even get the ball to Marquis Brown, and I'm supposed to get excited about Dez Bryant? Come on. Like, if this was Pat Mahomes and like this was Kansas City Chiefs, I'd be like, wow, I'd actually be really interested to see what's going on there. But come on, like Lamar Jackson is struggling. He's got think of Mark Andrews, who is a huge human being.
The Alvin Kamara of tight ends.
Yeah, and think of how many receptions you've seen for touchdowns that had to have been a difficult catch because Lamar Jackson hasn't been delivering the ball on target. It's like it should be an easy touchdown, and yet it's like way off target. So if Lamar can correct that, which I think he can, he's done that throughout his career. Don't get me wrong. And there's a second half of football. then I could become interested. Sure, if he can become a little bit more accurate. But as of right now,
we don't even have a reason to yet be excited about Marquis Brown. But I'm calling it right now. This week is the week to get excited about Marquis Brown. There's this weird phenomenon that happens in fantasy football and the NFL in general, and I have absolutely no information or data to back this up. But I have feelings, they're strong, and a memory, which is okay. And what that memory and those feelings suggest is that in years past, when wide receivers have came to the microphone and said, I'm not getting the rock enough, I'm open, my quarterback's not hitting me, you need to get me involved in the offense more, and they're not totally incorrect, you have the quarterback usually say something kind of like Lamar did, that's saying, yeah, my wide receiver's right, I got to do a better job about getting them the ball, and then they do. They look at them a little bit more. They force them a couple of targets. I think Marquis Brown gets 3 forced targets to him this week, and I think he catches one of them, and 1 forced catch by Marquis Brown is enough to make your fantasy day.
Yeah, we talk about these targets, especially in like Seattle where they're just dripping with fantasy fat. They're dripping with fantasy goodness. Like they are targets that are down the field, very high volume, not high volume, but high upside targets, and I think that's what Marquis Brown is. We always said in the offseason, if he could get 8 to 10 targets, I mean, a guy who's averaging 16 yards per reception, 8 to 10 targets, that's monster numbers there. So don't give up on Marquis Brown. He's definitely a hold. And this week's going to be tough. Indy's a tough matchup, but I do like what you're saying there, the squeaky wheel narrative that's going there.
Really quickly.
I just want to get, I want to touch a little bit on who's in here. We got Mitchell saying insane setup. Steven Drake's going, what's up, Gus? We've got Aiden.
And on that Whisper Nation vibe, love seeing everybody here. Thank you. Please hit that subscribe button, that like button. As soon as we get to 10 likes, we're at 8 right now. As soon as we hit 10, I'm taking a beer bottle off with my teeth. So we can get to 10 likes. I'm taking a beer bottle off with my teeth.
And then if we get to 20 likes, we're gonna shock Johnny's nipples on air.
No, but
we're doing it.
10 likes and I'm taking a beer bottle.
This is that second half. That is second half is not happening. But I mean, Austin could really do it. I've seen it. If you're into that kind of thing, it's pretty cool. But I mean, it looks painful. Anyway, yeah. If we can get those likes up, I appreciate it.
There we go, Whisper Nation. Oh, we got 9. There's 1. Oh, snaps.
One more.
And I got to take a beer bottle off with my teeth.
Okay? So hold on. 8. Hold on. I want to get this because it's related. Tobin asks, what is the most that you would drop for Dez? So anyone, would you drop any? I don't know if I would drop any. Like I'm presuming he's asking how many wob would you drop on him, or fob. I wouldn't. Or who? What player would I drop? I don't know that I'm even that interested because you also have the fact that he's coming off an Achilles injury, and that in itself is like pretty severe. So
I don't know why we get excited about Dez Bryant. I'm not in on it.
Right.
The man hasn't played in a couple of years. They've got wide receivers out there who, their peak is not anywhere near where Dez Bryant's peak is.
Let's talk about best case scenario here, which was Rob Gronkowski, right? Guy who took time off and then got paired with the best quarterback to get him the ball ever, and that still took time. That took weeks to get going. Months. So, I don't know that I'd be dropping a lot. You could put a little flag on him, see what's going on. I don't think you're going to need to drop much right now. Let it happen for a game and then see if you want to buy in. If he gets a massive target share and this offense is committed to throwing the ball more, but that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Let's pause the hype there. Gus Ramos says, what's up? I need a flex standard. I got Melvin Gordon, Rojo, and I think he said Gordon or Fant. So, for me, you got your flex here. You've got Rojo, Gordon, or Fant. I kind of like Fant here. I mean, I know Rojo's good. Rojo's good. It's standard. I might go with Rojo. Yeah. Oh, Kirk, Rojo, Gordon, Fant.
Rojo as in Ronald Jones, the second halfback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or Melvin Gordon the third? Or is he a second too? Another junior? Melvin Gordon the third, running back for the Denver Broncos. Ooh.
Those are tough matchups this week, all of them. I would probably Fant does, but you really feel confident in starting a tight end in your Yeah,
I do because
I
no
mean,
one
I
better
like-
is on my roster.
I like
so-
starting Fant this week in my tight end position, but I don't know if I'd want to put him in my flex. I'd probably play Christian Kirk, actually.
I love the upside of Kirk.
I do love I just don't like the matchup for Gordon and the fact that Philip Lindsay has been playing well, and they're not going to keep him off the field. They'll limit his touches, of course, but yeah, that's where I would go. I would go with Christian Kirk.
I love the upside of Kirk.
Right.
It's hard to pass on the floor of Rojo or Gordon, but given that they're in true committees where their counterpart has looked better as of late, I mean, Philip Lindsay's been breaking them out, and some of his chunkers, he just does what Philip Lindsay does every single year, and that's outperform the expectations put in front of him by the fans, by the coaches, by whomever, and he just performs. Christian Kirk is starting to catch a vibe. Christian Kirk is showing you, too, what he can do when you catch him on a streak or give him it on a sweep run. I love the Kirk play. The upside, if you're playing for that, is Christian Kirk for me all the way, and it's not even close.
Miami does have a set of good corners. I would be a little hesitant. They've been pretty good. But we did see Cooper Kupp have a nice game. Robert Woods have a nice game. So I would be I don't mind the Kirk play. I mean, you guys spoke on it. I don't need to say anything else. Fleabit, Peanut Monkey, couple more drafts. Washington is the top team in the NFC East. I love Scary Terry. If you have him, you start him. I agree with that. Like, Scary Terry is a guy that, like, if he's healthy and you have him, you're
Over Adam Thielen, though, I'm not.
I think I would. Thielen hasn't been as good as you think over the last few games.
I understand, but then this is it. I do get that Thielen hasn't been as productive, but Thielen is still going to get #1 targets over there
You got Bradbury.
against Detroit.
You got Bradbury for the Giants, too, who's been really good.
So that's what I'm saying. The matchups are telling you to start Thielen, and I'm going to go with what the matchups are telling me.
Easy Now Boy says, how do we not have 10 likes? We need one more like so Austin will rip a bottle cap off
Apparently,
with his teeth.
it's not what
our
Whisper
viewers
Nation
are
wants.
into. Oh,
They're
yeah,
not into
Johnny.
it,
Yeah,
dude.
Johnny's
They're
like, we don't want that.
Appreciate,
Because
yeah.
your nipples are next, dude.
Oh my God.
Easy Now Boy says, I'm in a dynasty league. Should I trade Mike Evans and a pick for McLaurin? What's the pick?
Yeah.
I mean, shoot. I mean, I like McLaurin.
If it's a first rounder,
I wish I knew McLaurin
wouldn't.
was going to get a better quarterback in someday. But we don't know that, especially with Washington.
I know. But depending on the pick, I don't know if I would trade Mike Evans and a first for McLaurin. But I would do, like, if it's Mike Evans and a third or Mike Evans and a fourth for McLaurin, I would do that.
Well, let's ask Austin, because Austin's got McLaurin in our dynasty league.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
And,
17th
the
round
question-
in a startup.
The question is, would you trade Mike Evans and a pick, to acquire Terry McLaurin?
If I had,
Yeah, what pick? What would it take for you to budge?
you know what? I actually wouldn't. I wouldn't.
You
do
wouldn't go get McLaurin. You would stick
I
with
would
Mike
stick
Evans.
with Mike Evans, and
And your
here's
picks.
the thought behind it. Now I don't have my show notes in front of me, so I'm gonna be. So then this is good. This is good. I would actually rather right now today, if you said take McLaurin or take Mike Evans, I'm gonna take Mike Evans, and here's the thinking behind it.
Okay, he does have Mike Evans right now.
I would sit on Mike Evans right now, and here is the thinking behind it. Mike Evans is what, 26, 27 years old? He's younger than you think. The amount of years that he's
Can we
been in the
bet
league.
this?
I don't think Mike
We need-
Evans is over 28 years old. I'm pretty.
I think he's 28.
He's in his 20s still, and Terry McLaurin is older than you expect. Terry McLaurin started his rookie year at the age 23, so he's 24. He's going on 25 right now. So they're closer in age. I know that right up. I know Philly Chelsea's checking the DOB for Mike Evans. Mike Evans is 27 years old.
Well done.
A young 27.
Look at this.
And can you look up Terry
Look at
McLaurin
this.
for me?
I am sincerely impressed by Austin's argument right now. Like, this is
So hear me out on this one. Terry McLaurin is 25 years old.
he's an old 25. If she were on player profiler, it would be like 0.8. He would be like 25.8, am I right?
So I don't know if it was my. We got
10 likes. Oh,
so I'm gonna
goodness.
jump to this Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans breakdown in a second. I'm sure the upvote we just got was not for the brilliant insight I just began to crack open on McLaurin and Mike Evans, and it was because someone said, "Oh my God, I need to see this mofo break open a bottle with his teeth."
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
There we go, Whisper Nation. Appreciate that 10 likes. And now the bottle cap.
Listen, every
is in
10
the
likes, something new will happen. The next one is Johnny's nipples getting tased. No, that's probably not going to happen. But either way, we've got 12 of you watching, only 10 likes. Let's get those likes up. And if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe and let us know that you subscribed in the chat. We'll shout you out here. I do want to give up, let's see. Daniel says, sorry I'm late, boys. You're not late. You're right here. You're here now. That's all we care about.
We should be honored that you showed up.
Appreciate you being here and giving us your eyeballs for a little bit.
Honored by your lateness.
Austin, this is a great one from the Cat's Pajamas. Who is your favorite name of our Whisper Nation?
Cat's Pajamas.
We had another one that was Butt Sprinkle. That one competes, but Cat's Pajamas, we love you. You're
That
here.
just sounds like a lack of fiber to me.
Pretty much. Standard League, Elliott/Pollard, which would be Pollard because Elliott has probably been ruled out, is what the notes we've gotten from my sources in my ear. And then Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins now. Increased workload.
Yep.
Tough matchup against the Colts, but not as tough of a matchup as the
Pittsburgh.
Steelers. What are you doing here?
Between Dobbins
And Pollard.
Cowboys are versing.
It's really a question of volume and upside.
It's tough for me to not play an elite handcuff like a Pollard when there's nobody else behind him now. The Cowboys organization has moved forward constructing their roster with Zeke being the number 1 and Pollard being the number 2. And now that you've got Zeke out, the fill-ins are Jags. They're just guys that are going to be there. Pollard's legit. So I think he's going to get added emphasis, but I love the J.K. Dobbins play. Anytime Ingram is out, Gus Edwards too, root Gus Bus. And it's a really good play, but I would go with Pollard simply based on there's no one else behind him that's there. There's no one else behind him that's there. But I do want to jump in. I do want to close out this one point here on Mike Evans and Terry McLaurin before we get too far on this one. And my reasoning for holding Mike Evans right now over Terry McLaurin is that they're just 2 years separated in age. And Terry McLaurin, yes, is the main vein. Mike Evans is also the main vein. What we would expect to see Terry McLaurin do in a couple of years, Michael Evans has already done. Michael Evans has already been the number 1 fantasy wide receiver in the entire league.
I have to say that I love that you're calling him Michael Evans. I think that puts a lot more emphasis on this pick to call him Michael Evans. I've never ever seen it written Michael Evans.
I do hope that's
I think it's like only John, or like Johnny is Johnny.
Yeah.
He's not Jonathan.
Right.
It's Mike. It's not Mike. I don't think it's Michael.
On his birth certificate, does it
I
say
think so.
Michael?
I think it says Mike.
Mike on there?
I think so, right?
It would make sense. I've never heard of his Michael Evans, but I wanted to put a little
I
more
love the
respect.
Michael.
I want to put a little more dignification on Mr. Evans' name there. So I'll just call him Mr. Evans right now until we find out what the corny
Mr.
account
Evans.
records. Yeah, so Mr. Evans right now has already done what you would expect Terry McLaurin to potentially come close to doing in a couple of years, and that's being the number 1 wide receiver in all of fantasy football. Michael Evans III? Michael Lynn Evans III. All of it. He went from Mikey Mike to Michael Evans III. That's the next thing. That we saw the wave of the seconds and the thirds coming in. Soon you're going to see the middle initial or middle name being put in there. But closing out this point here, Mike Evans has already done what you'd expect to see Terry McLaurin, you hope for Terry McLaurin to do in a couple of years. I think our critique on Mike Evans is that his quarterback situation is a little bit in flux. Hello, so is Terry McLaurin's quarterback situation. He's got Dwayne Haskins, Kyle Allen, a new coach this year. So much in flux for Terry McLaurin. Michael Evans he's got a coach at least locked in. Tom Brady for this year, maybe next. Coming up after that, we don't know. Same could be said for Terry McLaurin. Close in age. Mike Evans has done it every single year in, year out. We only have 1 year plus 8 games that we've seen Terry McLaurin do. And if Terry McLaurin had his first 5 years go the way that Michael Evans would, you'd be like, wow, what a successful first 5 years. So I think there's still room for Michael Evans to grow. And I think Terry McLaurin's ceiling is just barely past what Michael Evans could be, when we've already seen Mike Evans do it like pretty much every single year, and he's still got more room to grow.
We have seen 6 straight seasons of 1,000 yards for Michael Lynn Evans III.
There we go.
We've never seen a season over. Did McLaurin get over 1,000 yards
over
last year?
900?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it. You want. I love that. I love it. You want McLaurin to be what Evans has been consistently. I think sometimes we get in love with age in Dynasty. You know, we get infatuated with age, but maybe that's not the right concept here. Maybe we just need to go with what we know is true, and Mike Evans is a beast. I know.
Terry McLaurin's older than you think, and Evans is younger than you think.
All right, so we've got Prodi Jimmel in here. Start 2 half-point PPR, Fournette, Justin Jackson, and Gurley. I'm going to get Johnny here because he tried to run off camera last.
Half PPR, I'm going to go with Justin Jackson and give me Fournette this week. I do think this is a big workload week for Fournette, and he's taking the PPR aspect of it. He's taking the third down. He'll have the goal line work. Gurley, I'm concerned with Gurley because he didn't look fully healthy in the last game. He came up limping. He missed a lot of time. And so I think there's some concern there. They might start limiting him. And I know Brian Hill looked pretty good in his work that he got. So I do think that they could start limiting Gurley. I've been trying to encourage people to trade Gurley now while his value is probably not going to be higher than what it is right now. Like, people can still be like, hey, he's got second most carries in the league. Like, bolster up those stats to make them look good, you know? And then I would try to trade Gurley so that way you're not even stuck with this. And you could probably I would maybe even try to I would trade Gurley and another piece if you can for Nick Chubb. Maybe you can get a Nick Chubb before he comes back off.
You gotta love, dude. Whisper Nation comes in here, asks a single lineup question, and Johnny is delving into their psyche of their roster makeup, saying, "Hey, why don't you trade one of these guys? Let's get in there. Let's move them around."
Let me tell you about the status of the moon on the night that man was conceived.
Well, what are these zodiac signs for these players? That's what we really want to know here. I love it. Let's see. We've got Prodi Jimmel says, Bucks or Texans defense? This is actually a great question that I wanted to kick to Austin because we've talked about this before. When you have that elite defense rocking in the regular season, do you ever want to sit that defense for that great matchup? Right now we have the Texans facing Jake Luton, whatever you want to call him. Luton, he is the rookie quarterback that they bench Gardner Minshew for. Obviously, you know, Minshew had the thumb issue, some ligaments in the thumb, but what are we doing here? Are we
play?
Bucks play the Saints in Tampa though.
Okay.
Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and Emmanuel Sanders all active for this game. So this is a fully loaded Saints team, the same fully loaded Saints team that beat the Bucks in week 1.
So this is a bit of a political answer. Hey, it's a bit of a political day, but we can dive a little bit more into this. The team more likely to get you -1 is the Houston Texans defense. The team that's more likely to get you 15+ is the Houston Texans defense. Here's the reason why. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a stout, thoughtful, well-executing defense playing up against what should be a smart, thoughtful, well-executing offense.
They care about your feelings is what you're saying.
Nobody does. Just work hard. So it's going to be a well-managed game, in my estimation, if you will. And, yeah, you'd like to see those points stay low and not to break those thresholds to bring you too far down from your initial 10. But what you really want to get in defensive starts is that volatility, a little bit of that wild magic that comes from strip fumbles, pick sixes, sack fumbles, wild stuff like that. And in the old man matchup of Drew Brees versus Tom Brady, I don't think you see a ton of that. These guys are so veteran that they're going to throw the ball out of bounds. They're going to just take a sack instead of getting stripped. As where the Texans are better than their record would suggest, at least from a potential perspective. They've got real playmakers over there. We all know that. And the Jaguars haven't been great, and now they've got a quarterback replacing a guy we thought was going to be okay in Gardner Minshew. So they're potential is all over the map over there in Jacksonville, and I think that Houston wants to show you what they're about. All this means is both teams are going to have pedal to the metal, not looking at either one of their side view mirrors. They're just going with reckless abandonment, if you will. So which team is more likely to throw a pick six? I think it's going to be Jacksonville throwing a pick six, trying to catch up to that early 2-touchdown lead that Deshaun Watson and the Texans earned early. So I think you're more likely to get a couple of sacks as you got a rookie quarterback who holds on the ball a little bit too long because the NFL goes faster than any league he's ever played in. I think you got more likelihood of pick sixes coming your way, just regular old turnovers, these kinds of things. So I would be excited about the ceiling play. I'd go with the Texans.
So the Texans off a bye with a head coach who is a defensive-minded head coach facing another team off a bye with a rookie quarterback. I think Texans you got to go with him. I think you got to rock with him here this week. And we know we wouldn't be any surprise if Drew Brees hung 3-4 touchdowns on the Bucs in a divisional shootout. You know.
Right.
All right, so let's get through some of the stuff. Chelsea's moving us here. She's letting us know what's going on. We got Toby Loba in here saying what's up. There's all sorts of guys going here, people in here. Daniel, my two cousins. No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just want to come through and say what's up to everybody because I know we're not going to get through their questions right now. So can we scroll down just a little? Sorry,
apologies
Chelsea.
if we do miss any questions. I just want to give a quick shout out to Whisper Nation. We've been looking forward to the first Saturday show. This is the Saturday show. For months now. Myself, I've been wrapped up in running a local campaign over here in the Los Angeles area. This is the first free weekend I've had since the month of February, and we were just really looking forward to coming together with the boys and Philly Chelsea here and Whisper Nation, of course, our guests of honor as always, and just shooting the shit with all of y'all around something we love more than anything, and we should by all health recommendations combined, and that's fantasy football.
And this fire.
And this fire.
Yeah, this fire. We're around it right now.
Drinks. This bubbly, which we'll be cracking into early. Look how cool this flat black is.
Love it.
It's awesome. It's got an amazing aesthetic.
I love it. We got Robert, Toby Loba, Daniel, Fleabit, Peanut Monkey, all these people in the chat. We love you. We love you in here. Give us a like. Robert Shorter. We love it. All right, so let's get up here. Daniel says, my two cousins traded each other. I hope this goes the right way. Cousin 1 says Kyler Murray and CMC traded Cousin 2. Okay. Kyler Murray and CMC traded Cam Newton, Zeke, Amari Cooper, and Hawkinson.
Whoa, it's big names.
And I told Cousin 1 that he made a mistake. What do you think? No, actually, I think Cousin 1 did make a mistake here. Yeah, this is giving up great players for a bunch of garbage. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's a lot of garbage right now. I have no idea what's going on in Dallas, and neither does Dallas. Zeke and Amari Cooper, the best player in that trade, and this may sound crazy, is Hawkinson. Yeah, Hawkinson's the best player in that deal based on trajectory. Yeah, for sure. Their names. So I agree with you, Daniel. I would be very careful with what you do, and I think honestly, Cousin 2 got out of a sinking ship there. So that was good on him. And Kyler Murray could finish this year easily as QB1.
Also, how much does it for Cousin 1 here, right? It's like Cousin 1 and Cousin 2. It's like thing 1 and thing 2. Yeah. Okay. Hey, no, but seriously, you waited all this time to get CMC back, and the week he literally got activated this week. And he's going to play, and then you're going to trade him away. That's, I think what here's what I think. I think what Daniel is trying to get at here, if I can sift through the tea leaves here, I think he's trying to indicate there might be some collusion going on with Cousin 1 and Cousin 2.
Like the cousins are fucking?
No, not like that at all.
Sorry, it's too many Stokes and too many Brewskis.
No,
Excuse me.
yeah.
Sorry.
That I think that there might be some collusion because, like Travis said, those are some sinking ships, like big sinking ships, and you just upgraded to let's not forget Kyler. Actually, I have to see the updated bit, but Kyler heading into the bye week was the #1 quarterback for fantasy.
Yeah.
So he basically traded Kyler Murray for Cam Newton has like 0 fantasy points on the year. Like that's basically where Cam is right now. So
He did start off well.
I mean, he doesn't have. So we got Easy Boy or Easy Now Boy. Easy Now Boy? Do you think I won this trade in my dynasty league?
if it was the one that you cousin won, then no, you didn't.
I needed a first, or I traded a first and Mike Williams for Robbie Anderson. I had 2 first-round picks from it. I would have held on to those first-round picks. I do not like this trade. I think Mike Williams for Robbie Anderson straight up, that's fine. Like, go for the upside, whatever you're doing. But to trade away to first to get Robbie Anderson, yeah, Mike Williams with Herbert now dealing. I don't know why I'd be giving up Williams just yet.
Right, and like the thing is if you took Mike Williams away out of this, like, because some people he could have been like, oh, I just picked him up off waivers, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
And it's like, even if you asked me, like, would I rather have a first or Robbie Anderson in Dynasty, I would want the first because it has more potential. Now, yeah, there are some circumstances saying, like, maybe he's number 1 in his league right now, and he's like, well, I have a good chance of winning the championship, so my pick could be 12. And it's like, okay, now you're weighing the 12, but like, I like Robbie Anderson, I think, but it's like you're taking one sample size of 7 weeks of Robbie Anderson and trying to now it's Dynasty. That's the difficult part about it.
Yeah, I just think that Mike Williams is an equal, if not better, asset than Robbie Anderson in Dynasty right now.
And I just think Mike Williams hasn't been unlocked yet. That's the truth.
This is a great comment here by Fleabit Peanut Monkey. Fantasy is about moving forward and taking players for future usage, not the past. Yeah. I love this. Now you will hear us say, start your studs, and we believe that. But if your studs are no longer studs, you've got to cut bait and move on.
And pivot.
I think we're seeing that a little bit with the Dallas offense like we talked about. But fantasy is about looking at those up arrows, the trajectory of the way players are going. How is the usage going now? Because you're going to use the information that's in the past.
Well, and Travis, we talk about this, and it's come up a lot lately amongst ourselves, but how when people are off to a big lead and winning, they tend to not look at that stuff because they're like, oh, I don't need to. I have win. Right. And then the people that are in tune with that and doing that now are going to have the leg up, because when it comes time for that to have to be turned on, or you don't have that, you don't feel bad about sitting Zeke even if he was playing tomorrow because you were going to go with the better matchup or whatever it might be. That's the difficult part with it all. So
let's see. Toby Loba says, Whisperers, I traded Moss for Edmonds. Was that good for me? I'm 2-6, making a push. I play some of the worst teams in the league. I think it's a great deal.
Yeah.
I think Moss is a guy like you hope Moss gets to the value that Edmonds has right now at this moment. And that is an RB1 going into this week against a Miami defense not very good against the run. Edmonds should get the bulk of the carries. You've got his coach saying in the offseason when he still had Drake that Edmonds was a starting running back for any other team. I think the chase is on for Chase Edmonds. It's time to, giddy up because it could really be big things for Chase Edmonds. And we're going to look back and say, if Chase Edmonds literally steals this job, that's going to be you're just going to be really happy at Chase Edmonds.
And the whole joke, in Arizona on the radio and everything, is that everyone's like, "Oh, who's the backup to Chase Edmonds?" And it's like Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds is Chase Edmonds' backup. He's going to get used a lot. This should be a good game, and he's ready for it. He's ready to explode. He's a friend of the show. So shout out to Chase Edmonds. He's going to ball out.
We got some more people in here. Prodi, Jimmel, Dominique, Garrett, Colin. We love you guys for coming in here. If you guys can hit us with a like, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We're putting out content every single day. This is the first of what we love to envision as a future program here. This is this Saturday show. So welcome in, and we'll be answering some questions and going through some stuff and smoking stogs and drinking drinks. hanging.
Yeah, honest to goodness, we are an honesty-based show here. And apologies in advance if we don't get to every single one of your comments here. We fully intend to. We love you like real family. We're just a little bit faded right now. Like, it's honest. It's true. You know the truth serum is flowing through us, which means our takes are going to be what they're going to be.
Fire.
They're going to be something just like this here. But if we don't get to your comments, it's truly a mistake. We're here. We're vibing on you.
Well,
to give us more energy.
if we don't get to your question today, make sure you jump on. We will be live tomorrow morning to get you set for lineup
hour
questions.
And a half before the show.
90 minutes. Yeah, 90 minutes before kickoff, we will go live, answer your lineup questions, get you set for tomorrow. And we will be sober for that one. We will be completely sober for that. At least that's the thought as of right now.
Unless we're still a little bit buzzing from this event as it keeps going on for so long, which is what we're hoping to see.
We got Robert here. Robert Shorter, Philly Chelsea tells me. Standard League, pick 2. Oh, sorry if that was a P. A.J. Brown, Claypool, Juju, or Hollywood Brown. Austin, you want to take this?
Hit me with the names one more time.
A.J. Brown, Claypool, Juju, or Hollywood Brown. Pick 2. Standard League.
First and the last. I'm taking A.J. Brown. I'm taking Marquis Brown. I'm taking the Brown Bros on this one.
I do like
and
those.
It was Claypool and the who else am I leaving off?
Juju. And Juju.
Yeah, Claypool and Juju. And I'm taking Marquis Brown. I mentioned it earlier in the live stream. He is the number 1 receiver. Mark Andrews would be the number 1 option. J.K. Dobbins might compete a little bit with that too. But Marquis Brown is the number 1 wide receiving option, a wide receiver who has been very public in his criticism of Lamar Jackson's current inability to get him the rock, a comment that Lamar Jackson got in line with. You didn't see any conflict coming from the reigning MVP. He said, Marquis Brown is right. I got to do a better job of getting one of my top playmakers the rock. I think that's going to happen. Traditionally, you see that storyline play out all the time in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And the A.J. Brown comment is this is a borderline elite receiver right now. I know that Corey Davis had a really good week last week, but A.J. Brown, nobody holds a candle to his talent over there. When we talk about the other receivers, though, in Claypool and in Juju, we got Deante Johnson. That is still, I would say, the alpha in Pittsburgh. I think Claypool and Juju are both primed to have really fine games, but I want to get the floor play of a number 1 in Brown and Brown.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you're looking, actually, Juju doesn't, out of the 3 Dallas corners, the slot corner is the best rated for Pro Football Focus. So it's actually not quite a great matchup for Juju, even though it looks like it is because it's against Dallas. So I love the rest of your breakdown. That was really good. All right.
Thank you. We got 17 viewers right now. What is going on, Whisper Nation?
Oh, we got an update from Daniel coming up. Philly Chelsea had scrolled down a little bit. I saw there was an update by Daniel. We'll get to it in a second, but I'm excited to get there. I'm excited to read that. What's the update?
So for Whisper Nation who's just joining, Daniel's cousins have been having a potential collusion dynamic developing, and we're going to learn more in this drama.
Yeah.
Hear from Daniel's cousins here shortly.
Coming up. Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that.
All right. So where are we at with the questions? Okay, we have Garrett. We got Garrett, Texans or Arizona defense this week?
So we talked about the Texans this week playing against the Jags. Johnny, Arizona this week plays against
Miami.
Ooh.
And Tua.
Give me Miami. Give me Arizona.
I do think that the upside is – I loved how you were talking about the one team could get -1 and 15, and when you were talking about Tampa Bay versus Houston.
Yeah.
I love that breakdown. I would agree with the Houston part, but when it comes to Arizona, I think Arizona could equally have the upside of 15, but I don't think the downside
100%.
is -1. I think
Johnny.
it's like – 4, or I think Marcus. Hey, check this out. Marcus Golden is going to be back for the Cardinals. This is a huge upgrade at pass rush that they need. That I'm telling you.
There's no conversation over here. It's Arizona for me, and it's not even close. I think both of these games are primed for Let It Fly. Let's see what it's about. Tua last week came in and didn't really show us what he was about because the Dolphins got up early. Their defense played really well. The run game showed up. And yeah, he had that one little short yardage touchdown to Devontae Parker. He's going to have to come out and prove himself a little bit more this week playing against Arizona, who's not going to fall down and not score the way that Miami's opponent did last week. Arizona's got some significant playmakers from Buchanan to Patrick Peterson. Chandler Jones is done. But who's our rookie that just showed up
Simmons,
last
week? He's actually supposed to play a big role in this.
Yeah. So I think the Arizona defense has as much ceiling as the Texans do, but they're an actual performing team right now who's not going to drop 35 points the way that the Texans still could against a rookie quarterback playing for the Jags. That still could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking Arizona. Garrett. Rumreen. Great question.
Okay, so Colin, here, Travis.
Colin Gornicki. I'll hit this one.
Garek.
Colin Travis, hit us with this one. You're a better speaker than I am right
Colin Garacki. Trade away Ridley. I don't know if we botched it. Whatever.
That's a great last name.
We're just happy you're here. To be honest, Colin, we're happy you're here.
He's like, I'll be happy if you answer my question.
Trade away Ridley and Edmonds for CMC and Mike Davis. Oh, this is tough. It depends on your record for me. If you have wins, I would keep Ridley and Edmonds.
Yeah.
Because I think you've got the more upside there. If you need wins now, I would trade for CMC because he's back now. He's back, baby. And so I'd be rocking with that. Because Ridley has the minor list, Frank. It's going to be at least this week, maybe a couple more. Potter has something to say. Come here. Come on.
If I could jump in here a little bit, this is a very convoluted question because no matter the way you'd want to analyze this trade, player A, Ridley and Edmonds, player B, CMC and Mike Davis, both the running backs there in Carolina. If you play for ceiling or for floor, there's cases to be made for both sides of this right now. Hear me out for a second. CMC and Mike Davis are both running backs for the Carolina Panthers, both running backs that have played exceptionally well in 2020. CMC was the #1 running back coming in this year, and while his efficiency wasn't great while the games he played, his production was there. He was balling out. Mike Davis's production and efficiency was doing really good things, which would suggest he's going to have more of a role even when CMC comes back. So while I initially thought that CMC would be the ceiling play, CMC's ceiling might be significantly reduced because he's no longer a bell cow. He's a part of a true committee, which still could be very productive. It still could be very productive.
I mean, I don't know if I buy in that he is part of a committee. Like we've got a situation where, yeah, you could make the case that it goes from 90-10 usage to 80-20.
Here's my only argument with it, is that CMC might not be the sole bell cow. And so then you're looking at Ridley and Edmonds. Edmonds in a couple of weeks might be given the job back up to Drake. And Ridley, I don't know what world he jumps ahead of Julio Jones this year.
So he did it already in the first month.
I know he outperformed him, but are you really going to say Calvin Ridley's the number one?
I mean, look, I know that the argument is like touchdowns are something you can't go by. But Ridley is a guy that's like breaking that argument because he continues to score touchdowns for them. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
So I don't know that. Look, once again, I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of this question. If you have wins and can afford it, I think you keep Ridley and Edmonds for the upside in the playoffs. If you need to win now, CMC or Mike Davis start. CMC starting this weekend.
I think
Ridley's out. Edmonds definitely has a good matchup, but like,
I would do this deal. I would do this deal because, like Austin said, they're saying that Drake could be back sooner rather than later. Now we can have doubts as to whether or not how good he's going to be when he comes back and all of that. But CMC, we know what kind of what workload he's going to get. Even if that's a little bit hindered, I'm still confident in what he could do with a hindered workload. And then Calvin Ridley, like, we don't know for certain when he'll be back. And if he does come back, it's going to, like, how is he going to be 100%? So I think most ultimately, like, I would just go with, I think CMC is going to be, I think he's good the rest of the way. I think they held him out long enough to where he is 100%. And I would do this. I would get CMC.
I vote to whoever gets the Panthers backfield wins that.
I also vote for Carolina backfield trade side of this. So that's.
You guys literally just made the case against it.
Dude, we just said. You just
hey,
argued this is America. All right, this is democracy.
It is what it is. Like at the end of the day, it's not like Drake's injury is that much different from CMC's. It's an ankle and ligament injury.
So I'll even simplify this one. So then Drake comes back before the playoffs. Edmonds is now not giving you any points. Calvin Ridley is giving you good production, but Julio Jones is still there. But you're going to be getting a good floor and a good ceiling.
In a league where
with CMC,
in a league where running backs going in the top 5 is dying, we still have a situation in Carolina where a running back went in the top 5 in CMC. To think that Mike Davis is going to somehow come in and take a usage away from CMC, I'm not trying to be an elitist here, but that's preposterous. Especially in the last couple weeks where Mike Davis's efficiency actually kind of went down. He was not as good in the last couple weeks. So give me CMC. Like, you want the best player. Like, it's not like a Zeke.
So we all taking CMC?
Yeah.
Oh, we all agree. Whisper Nation. You can hear it here first.
Unless you're like sitting there pretty, then you might want to. Yeah. All right. Fleabit Peanut Monkey says, I've never seen such aggression like I have on the Cowboys since Dak went down. I think the Cowboys players will soon see positive regression, hopefully when Dalton comes back. I think so. I would agree somewhat with that. But, like, it's not going to be, it cannot get worse. Philly Chelsea astutely pointing out it can't get worse. That's true. But yeah, you can only go up, literally. Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill. That's what you got there. Toby Loba, also Dobbins, Dallas, or Pollard, DJ Dallas, or Pollard if Zeke is out. Pick 2, thanks. We've got Travis Homer probably back.
Homer was in last week, though, too.
Yeah, and DJ Dallas's whole day was saved by a touchdown.
Two touchdowns.
So maybe he might get him. We got a quarterback that throws deep into the end zone every game, so maybe he gets him, maybe he doesn't. I like DJ Dallas though. I think that's fine. I'm just saying, like, we can't buy too much into DJ Dallas with Homer sticking around.
Let me ask you this one right here: DJ Dallas or Wayne Gallman this week, or Gus Edwards? DJ Dallas, Gus Edwards, or Wayne Gallman?
DJ Dallas. I would take Dobbins and Dallas. Those are the 2 I would take. Flex, Adam Young says, flex pick 2 PPR, DJ Dallas, Deante Johnson, Mike Williams, or Gurley. QB is Stafford or Carr. Thank you guys so much. Look, if Stafford's cleared, I'm rocking with Stafford against Minnesota, who has like 3 of their 4 starting corners out in this game.
Carr's got a good matchup, though.
Yeah, Stafford is the epitome of a great matchup.
Yeah. Hey, I think the Chargers are number 30, letting up points to fantasy quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's fine. We've got 4 starting corners, and 3 of them are out for Minnesota.
I'll go Stafford too.
You're gonna smash Stafford here. I think that's the bet here. But I like talking about that a little bit. Carr's been consistent, but he's not a ceiling play for me. He's gonna be that 18 to 22 range points, and Stafford can get you 30 to 35 in this game, especially.
I think we're about to see a new ceiling, though, coming in from Carr as this whole offense is going to congeal and the rest of the wide receiving options are finally together. The rookies that have been leading the show are more versed in the playbook, are healthy more than they've been all season. And I think the combination of Ruggs, Aguilar, who's shown up a little bit, Waller, who's there, and Carr at this point in his career is going to elevate his ceiling by half a rung compared to what we've seen coming into this. And if you look at deep dive on the metrics, Carr's actually played really well from a regular short to mid passing perspective as well as a deep passing perspective. So keep an eye on Carr. He's a low-key play second half of the season.
Let's see. So we've figured out the quarterback there a little bit with a little devil's advocate from Austin here. Pick 2 PPR, DJ Dallas, Deontay Johnson, Mike Williams, Gurley.
I think I'm gonna go Deontay Johnson and Gurley here. I don't feel great about the Gurley pick here, but I know the workload is for sure going to be there over DJ Dallas. I prefer DJ Dallas, honestly, from like a skill on who I think would actually make it through the game, and I'm more confident in that. But give me Gurley and Deante Johnson this week.
I agree.
Yeah.
Easy Now Boy says, thanks for all the advice. Going to head out. Glad I finally made the live. We're glad you made it as well. Appreciate that. Toby Loba says, also, someone offered me Tyreek Hill and a 2021 first for DK Metcalf. Do I take it? No. You cannot part with DK Metcalf right now. I think
between well, and as of right, I mean, all things change with new information. But before Dak went down, the question was, is CeeDee Lamb or DK Metcalf the number one wide receiver in Dynasty? And then obviously Dak went down. Things have massively changed for CD. So DK is the number one wide receiver in Dynasty, and I would not trade that right now.
Where would somebody, the argument against that would be, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes is tied to Tyreek Hill, and I get that. But so many other weapons are tied to Patrick Mahomes as well as Tyreek Hill. You've got Travis Kelce, you've got CEH, you've got Nicole. Yeah. Of course, the history with Tyreek Hill. The bottom line is DK Metcalf is a Terrell Owens. He's a Megatron. He's this physical specimen tied to a guy who just came out and said, I put $1 million on my body every year to make sure I'm healthy. Russell Wilson has never missed a football game in his career. And so for me, if you're talking about the quarterback argument between the two, you want DK, and then you've got the specialness of DK this year to burn a guy like Stephon Gilmore in a primetime game. I love what DK's putting on the field right now, and I think he's there.
I want to piggyback off that last comment Travis made, alluding to the special qualities DK Metcalf holds. I took Tyreek Hill first round in our dynasty startup 2 years ago, and I love that pick. I wouldn't go back on making that pick there because Tyreek Hill offers something special that no other real wide receiver shows in the NFL. And yeah, being paired with Patrick Mahomes' enormous arm and Tyreek Hill's glitch speed is a cheat code in a lot of ways, and Tyreek Hill could benefit playing in a lot of scenarios because of how fast he is. But he is still like 5'8", 5'9". He does need to have continuity with the system and a role in the offense. DK Metcalf's special abilities are more than just speed. This dude is huge. This dude is strong. We just have seen all of the internet memes of DK chasing down the defensive back for the Cardinals on the play. So, like, DK is still getting better at football. His route tree is still expanding. He's getting stronger. He's still getting good at NFL football. So DK's special abilities are just as good, if not better, than Tyreek Hill's. He's got more special abilities than Tyreek Hill has, and he's younger. And as soon as Tyreek Hill's athleticism is gone, he's done. But DK Metcalf, because of how big he is, how strong he is, he could evolve his game the same way a LeBron James or a Larry Fitzgerald has evolved their game to play to their physical abilities and still stay extremely productive and valuable on their offense.
100% agree.
Let's see. I want to just say thanks to everybody watching right now. Whisper Nation, thanks for coming in here. We've got 13 viewers. We got 14 likes. You guys are rocking and rolling. Appreciate you guys coming in here. Saturday show is here and live.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Mitchell, this is Potter. He's my dog. He's a sweet dog, but he has his sides where he's not so sweet. But right now he's actually behaving. And if you listen to the podcast regularly, you'll probably hear him because he loves to give his input on players as well when he disagrees with what I'm saying, which seems to be pretty often.
Robert says, cheers, guys. Love the show. We appreciate it, Robert.
Appreciate you, Robert.
Cat's Pajama says, would you trade Michael Thomas and Henderson for Rojo?
Or Rojo
for Miles Sanders? I don't know, Johnny. This is tough. What are your initial thoughts on this one? I think now that Thomas is finally going to play, I'd probably be hanging on to Thomas.
Here's the thing. If you are in need of a running back, I actually would trade Michael Thomas and Rojo for Sanders because Sanders' schedule moving forward, it's real nice, and he's coming off of that injury. I think he's going to be healthy. So, I'm fine. I mean, you've been this long without Michael Thomas. You've been able to get by this well, or this far. Now, if you need a wide receiver, then don't trade Michael Thomas. But if you've made it this far, you obviously have this set of wide receivers that are more than capable. I love getting a guy like Miles Sanders and getting off the boat of Rojo, because I think this is going to be more of a 50-50 split or a 60-40 split in the favor of Leonard Fournette, because he has the pass catching abilities that Ronald Jones just can't seem to get wrapped his hands around. No pun intended. But
standard league, I'd be more inclined to agree with Johnny. If it's PPR, I kind of want to rock with Michael Thomas and see. Now that he's finally getting ready to play, I think the ceiling is going to be right back there for Mike. They're going to pound the ball through him. They've tried with other guys, and it hasn't really caught up.
No one's filled the role Michael Thomas vacated.
Nobody's really said, okay, he's invaluable here, So, guys, what do you think AB's ceiling is? Asks Toby Loba. Can he be a fantasy wide receiver 1 or even the Bucs wide receiver 1? This is a great question. I think he can. I think, look, sure. Tom Brady has brought him out there, put him in his house. They're roommates now. Like, this is a thing. We saw in one game, that's what everybody wants to cling to, is this one game as a Patriot. He got that touchdown there. Huh? No, I think we get caught up in wanting it to be something that the volume just doesn't say that it can be right now.
Let me get ahead of Johnny where he's coming from, because he's being real cool and collected over here, but I know where he's going to get. So I'm gonna little rabbit, end of 8 Mile, get ahead of where he wants to run on this one here. And we've made many bets in our League of Records and Dynasty Whisper Nation leagues about the potential outcome of Antonio Brown. We've been talking about this soap opera for months right now, and he's here. He's finally in it. Game Time and I bet a while back. I said over under 3 games for Antonio Brown in the 2020 season. Johnny never took me up on that bet, but I know he's got a little smirk over there being like, watch Antonio Brown come in right now and take this one. Yep. And let me tell you right now why this could happen. It really could happen. And you hear the storyline of how awestruck the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team was with the physical fitness Antonio Brown came in with on day 1. Game ready. And why this, to me, suggests he could actually be the number 1 wide receiver is here it is. Before he went out, Antonio Brown was pretty unquestioned the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL from not only a skills perspective, a skill that he had to develop. He was never the number 1 overall drafted wide receiver. He developed his game, and he developed it in a way where you could no longer question what he had done. He locked it in. There was no fluke to Antonio Brown's game. He earned all of that reputation that came his way. And that's where he left the Oakland Raiders with, as reputation of being the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, and a lot of that was built on how hard he works. The fact that he comes back after this much time and has just as good a physique, if not more, to me suggests he has not been taking this time off for granted at all. And if he's better physically than he was when we saw him, and we haven't seen him at all, that means to me his ceiling could be it could even be a little bit better. It could be like, okay, Antonio Brown is crazy. He's got a damaged brain. I believe this full-heartedly. You don't need a perfect brain to play wide receiver in the NFL. Like, that's no knock on anything. It's just true. If his body is there and he is crazy and he's factored all of this craziness in to just running routes, catching passes, like, you could run route and catch passes very, very well if your entire brain was damaged and focusing on, like, literally only that.
Well, I just think that I'm personally kind of rooting for him, that in the hopes that I hope he turned his life around, and I'm always down for giving people second chances. Well, with AB it's like a 10th chance.
6, 7,
yeah,
10,
but
chances.
If he has been really good since the start of the season, and even before that, started training camp really. He has been silent. I mean, there's no stories about him. There's nothing. We've been, and people have been budging him because people wanted to know, even before he signed, where he was going to go. Because there was all these, rumors of, he could go to the Ravens, the Seahawks, and he was quiet. And so it tells me that at least the initial indication is that he's taking this seriously. And I also think, too, the fact that he's in such a talented wide receiver room also makes it so that, hey, if you do act up, like, Bruce Arians will bench you, and they do have the players to fill your spot.
And some competition for him.
Yeah,
too, right?
so it's not like, oh, if you're bench, like we're significantly losing a player. It's like, okay, if we bench you, okay, Scotty Miller will come in, and we've seen Scotty Miller play well. Like so I think it's different. I think you're going to see a different thing from AB. Do I absolutely think he'll be a wide receiver 1 rest of the way? There are some doubts.
He could be irrelevant.
Yeah, he could be. There are questions of the target share for sure, but I would say that I like the idea more so that he could be a top 12 than I don't like the fact that he's a top 12.
Who was the last quarterback to throw Antonio Brown a touchdown pass?
Tom Brady. So
Samuel Rojas says, "Sup, fellas? What's going on, Samuel?
What's up, Samuel?
I have Hayden Hurst and Jared Cook. Is it worth selling one of them off to a tight end needy team? Don't know what to expect in return." Yeah, this is you could sell them off. If somebody's going to take the bait on a tight end, you should, because, look, everybody is a tight end needy team. Everybody outside of Travis Kelce, is like a tight end needy team. So, like, yeah, I think there's a situation where you would want to get rid of one of these guys, but just be warned, like, you don't want to give up more value than you've got. So I know Johnny wants you to pair him with a guy.
Yeah, I think
But,
that's the key. You're not gonna be able to say, oh, what can I get for just Jared Cook? Like, give me a one for. I don't think that's.
I think
possible.
sometimes you go to pair these guys, and then you end up giving up more value than you need to.
But yes, I do agree that in theory, on paper, you're like, yeah, you're giving up a little bit more. But one, that's a good argument to bring to the table. Two, you're not pairing the player that you're also being able to add off of waivers to add to that trade because it's a 2-for-1 or a 3-for-2. So people don't talk about enough the waiver wire add you get to add as well to the deal, which you should talk about. And then thirdly, if you are doubled in that tight end position, you're not necessarily losing anything for yourself. So you're able to. Yeah, you're paying a little bit more, sure, but you're doing it in a more strategic way in that it's not actually hurting your team because you're giving away a piece that you are like, oh, it's on my bench. It's actually, kind of using up a spot that you could be using for somebody else. So another dart throw. So I think that, yeah, on paper, does it look like you're giving up more? Sure, but are you technically giving up more when you dive into it and you zoom into the map and you look at the numbers and where they come from? I'm just saying things change, don't they?
Fleabit Peanut Monkey says, "You guys are awesome. Must be something wrong with your algorithm. Your show should grow big." Oh, they're growing, man. We've been growing a big time.
Yeah,
says, "I'm buying what you guys are selling, and good luck." Appreciate that. If you are not subscribed, Fleabit, or anybody else watching, please hit that subscribe button. Let us know that you guys subscribe. That way, we can shout you out here. If we scroll just a little bit up, Chelsea, I want to see. That's some talk on Brian Hill here.
Oh, I love me some Brian Hill talk.
A little bit up. Brian Hill is worth a stash, a pickup stash. Might be a league winner. The Falcons are sneaky good. At least on offense, they are very good. Yeah. And we saw, like as Johnny pointed out, Todd Gurley got a little banged up in that Thursday night game, and we saw a little bit more of Brian Hill. I think Brian Hill is a guy that you should be keeping on your radar. Should have already swiped him up. Some of these guys you want to look at as clear handcuffs to guys that are getting a lot of usage, and I think Brian Hill is one of those guys. Daniel Sanchez says, "Start 2, Hollywood Brown, Corey Davis, DJ Shark, Antonio Brown." Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, Daniel.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Hollywood Brown, Corey Davis, DJ Shark, or Antonio Brown. We're starting Antonio Brown here, and I think I would roll with. This might be a little crazy. I think I'm going to roll with Corey Davis.
It's so funny that you say that because I was going to say that. I thought you were going to go with the Hollywood Brown because I do think this is a smash spot. For a squeaky wheel gets the grease for Hollywood Brown. But, dude, Corey Davis he's been
quietly really good.
Super solid.
And what we've seen is Jonnu Smith's production kind of dip.
Yeah.
And with that, Corey Davis's production has kind of gone up.
100%.
And I would keep rocking with Corey Davis here. I think that's a good spot for him. And especially in PPR, like, catches have been there.
Yep.
So that's what I would go with. Toby Loba says, if I go and do a dynasty draft right now, who would be the first quarterback, running back, wide receiver?
Love this question.
This is a really good one. Austin, why don't you start with the QB?
I'm going to use
first QB off the board.
Patty Mahomes.
Yep.
Patty Mahomes for me. Dynasty startup quarterback selection. Patrick Mahomes, who would still be on his rookie contract if he had not been offered the largest contract in NFL history. There's no reason to believe his ceiling is not going to continue to increase. He might be the best quarterback we've ever seen when it's all said and done, and he still can't even legally run. He still can't even legally run to be president. So, to me, it's not even a. There's no one even close.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to take wide receiver here, and I'm going to go back with DK Metcalf, like we were talking about. I think DK Metcalf, to me, is the #1 wide receiver I would be taking off the board. We talked about CeeDee Lamb, and
Maybe we can do 1, 2, 3. I think.
Okay. Do you have a couple quarterbacks behind Mahomes you want to rock with?
It's Lamar Jackson's age is tough to deny of where it is right there. We're seeing some volatility in his performance, but I believe this man is so committed to getting better every year. I believe Lamar Jackson's a winner that I think next year we're going to see a different style of play from him. It's just not going to be as consistent as a Patrick Mahomes whose style of play is entrenched. Lamar Jackson offers so much. I would still put him right up there, and probably the third would be Kyler Murray.
Yeah, so I would actually flip Kyler Murray
Yeah,
and
I would too.
Lamar. I think Kyler Murray, to me, has proved like he can be an accurate passer, whereas Lamar has some issues with accuracy. I mean, he does have the ability to push the ball down the field, no question about it. But I think we've seen enough of this year to kind of, and it's a little bit cheating, but I think we've seen enough of this year to kind of go with Kyler ahead of him. But I like what you laid down there. For wide receiver, I would go DK Metcalf, and then I think CeeDee Lamb is a great choice for the #2 wide receiver that I would probably be invested in. And I mean, #3 is kind of tough. I don't really know. Like, I think I would kind of dip into some of the older guys here, and then for me, I don't know. Like,
I still like Devontae Adams.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is Devontae Adams like
28 right now?
Yeah, and I
really
say
good for
older,
4
but
years,
like
though.
that dude, if he puts 16 games on tape, and I know that's the argument, like you got to put 16 games out there. Devontae Adams is a cheat code right now with the 30% market share, the touchdown dependency. I mean, Rodgers gets down there and they don't run, man. They throw to Devontae Adams in the red zone. You want that, man. That's what Julio owners want out of Julio.
Right.
You know, and he gets it there. So for me, I think Devontae comes in as that third option in those wide receivers there.
I wouldn't put CeeDee right there as #2 just because while his talent is so good, and I don't think I've seen a pro-ready rookie wide receiver ever. And I remember Odell Beckham's incredible rookie year. I remember
took him a while to get going.
Sure, CeeDee Lamb came in day 1, and he looks like the best wide receiver on that team, but he technically still has 2 other young, really good wide receivers ahead of him. And I'm going to need to see him cleanly supplant Cooper and Gallup to claim that #1 role over there before I would anoint him in the top 3 of all selected dynasty options.
Yeah, I would hear you on that one. Running back, Johnny, your top 3 dynasty running backs at this moment right now.
Top 3?
Yeah. Top 3 running backs. Dalvin Cook would be up there for me as a top 3. I think we've seen his upside, and I understand there still could be the injury concerns for those people, but we've seen what his upside, and he's amongst the league best for at his position. Sorry, Potter needs up here, so he wants to join the conversation. I would say that I would put. I think with Stefanski, this one might be a little bit of a shock to some people. Look, I would still put CMC as the #1 running back for me, and you know Saquon is still there, even with the injury. I would still put him up there, but I would make an argument for Nick Chubb as potentially one of the top 3 running backs to be taken, and that's because what we've seen with Stefanski there, and not only that, but like people would say, well, there's also Kareem Hunt. And why would you want, your dynasty paired with someone who's going to split time? Well, what we've seen while Nick Chubb has not been in this offense is Kareem Hunt has struggled. Like, let's be honest. He has struggled. And what you've seen is that true between the tackles guy, and Nick Chubb is just an underrated running back. And let's also understand too that Kareem Hunt it's not a long-term extension. So I would make that argument. I wouldn't mind someone who took Nick Chubb, top 3. But yeah, I would have those top 4. So CMC, Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, and Nick Chubb would be my top 4 running backs.
Might sneak Josh Jacobs in there just because of the role he's cleanly cleared out with Gruden and the Raiders, and it is just his second year. His efficiency hasn't been there, but his production still has, and I think his production continues for the next several years, and he's a couple of years away from his prime still.
Yeah, this is tough. I think the argument that Johnny makes for Chubb and that you're trying to make over there for Josh Jacobs is great. I think both of those guys have not shown us anything as far as receiving chops that the other 3 have.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're talking about a dynasty and an asset, we know that receiving equals more. It's more valuable to a running back in fantasy if you can catch the ball with what you're doing. And there is something about Dalvin Cook, like when he is on the field and healthy, he looks like the best pure runner, pure pass catcher that there is out there right now. And I don't mean that just off of a 3 touchdown game, a monster game. I mean that as that guy, when he's on the field, looks dynamic. So I agree, it's CMC. You got to put CMC up there. Youth, focal point of the offense, pass catching ability. I mean, this guy just broke the record for pass catching as a running back. But I think you could make the argument for Dalvin Cook or Saquon in that next category. And then I would cut it off at those 3. I don't sneak Nick Chubb in there. I don't sneak Josh Jacobs because they just don't catch the ball enough.
Does Kamara not make the list because of age?
Kamara doesn't make the list because of the between the tackles factor that he doesn't keep up enough. He's more like him and Aaron Jones's careers are so funny to me because they mirror each other so well. They're focal points of their offense that really get their nuts, so to speak, off of catching the ball. And I just think like Sean Payton is always going to want to have a Latavius Murray, a Mark Ingram, somebody in there ahead of him. Dalvin Cook is his main vein. CMC is his main vein.
A new little term for the Alvin Kamaras and the Aaron Jones would be non-volume elite. Like they're elites, but they don't get it through volume, and we preach volume all the time, and they're such curious case studies to me because they're so freaking good. Like, they're legitimately good. They're talent-wise, they're rolling the offense the way that
we wanted Austin Eckler to be.
Exactly, exactly. The way that Kareem Hunt could be. These things here, it's non-volume elites. And
I like that.
You need to have a handful of things work out for you to claim that role, and you being on another team, you might never get it, which gives you pause on those guys, but non-volume elites.
My problem with Kamara and looking dynasty-wise is, like, right now his value's all based off of Drew Brees. But, like, we've seen Taysom Hill, and Taysom Hill's not good. Like that's where we got to be honest. Like, he's not what Sean Payton says he is. We've seen that. So is there some concern long-term for that as well? Yeah, like, that's also got to be built into why you would have Alvin Kamara slightly below those other guys. But as far as a running back standpoint, Kamara is so incredibly fun to watch. So we always kind of preach this in fantasy football, and not a lot of people do this, on other sites or whatever. But, like, generally, like, go in on players that you enjoy watching. Because if you don't enjoy watching him, and especially in a dynasty league, like, if you're not a Kamara fan and you're like, oh, I'm just going to get Kamara because he's so efficient right now, then you're going to be hating yourself in a couple of years because you're going to be like, oh, his efficiency goes down or his quarterback changed, and now I'm really frustrated because he's on my dynasty team, and I should have taken whatever Nick Chubb because I'm a huge Cleveland Brown fan, whatever it is. Like, when they're that close, I always say, like, go with someone you enjoy watching.
I want to double down on that point because it's one of my favorite to make in fantasy. And anybody out there in Whisper Nation who's just joining along, this is something I hope that you really take to heart if you don't have a ton of fantasy years under your belt. And that's when you're making your draft selections. If there's a player or if there's two players that you've got a split hair decision between, you look at the numbers and you say, man, I really think player A has got the volume, got the upside, got the floor, got all these pieces I like, and player B is right there. I think player A's ahead. I really do, but player B is so close in all of the categories. The difference is I don't like player A for whatever reason. I hate the team they play on. They're on my rival squad. I don't like the way he looks or his whatever it is, doesn't matter. And player B is someone you love. They're on your favorite team. You liked them since college, whatever it might be. don't crunch your notes all the way through. Go with the player you're going to like watching for 2 reasons. One, it's a coin toss at the end of the day. Your pre-draft analysis, it's not going to hold up the way you expect it to. And so if the latter player actually outperforms and the first player underperforms, you're going to be really pissed at yourself for not going with it. But the second point of it, and it adds to more longevity of your relationship with this player, is that when you have a guy on your squad you love to watch, they're on your team, you've liked watching them since college, you're going to hold on to hope. You're going to say, this player can, this player could. Watch, hold out for it. Just a couple things need to change, and you're legitimately going to stay bought in. Compared to with the first player, if you hate them and they don't start panning out, you're going to want to get rid of that as soon as you can, and it's just going to cause you so much internal discomfort. And this game of fantasy football holds way more of a stranglehold on our emotional week-to-week basis than it should. Yeah. Give yourself some easy wins here. It's a 50-50 shot as is. At least lasso yourself to the player you know you're going to enjoy, regardless of if they perform or underperform week in, week out. Mm-hmm. Because they've got almost just as good of a shot to perform in a realistic standpoint than that other guy does too.
Yeah. All right, do we want to get to some more of these questions?
Hell yeah, we do. And I was man, average, we're looking at some of these stats over here. 16 likes. We're getting around 15 again. Thanks for joining us, Whisper Nation. 10.5 minutes average watch time. That's cool.
That's pretty awesome.
We're hanging out. We're enjoying the Saturday show with y'all. Thanks for joining us. We want to make sure we get to all of y'all's questions right here. Chelsea, what was that really cool comment someone said saying nice things about? Right there at the top. Right there it is. Fleabit Peanut Monkey. Travy, you see this one? Fleabit Peanut Monkey says, you guys are awesome. Must be something wrong with your algorithm. Your show should grow big. I'm buying what you're selling, and good luck. Fleabit Peanut
love
Monkey.
That.
Love you.
Hopefully he subbed like we were saying earlier, because we got this content coming out every day. You know, every day of the week. You know, you go through that cycle with fantasy football. You got the game day, of course. You're loving that. You're rocking with that. But then you've got waivers, and you've got all these things you're trying to get ready for. You got the matchups pouring in. You need to know what the hell to do with these players. We're trying to help you every step of the way. Injury news comes out. We're trying to let you guys know about that. We write articles over on the fantasywhispers.com. We've got all the stuff to help you get ready for that matchup, because we know we've lived it for 10, 15 years playing this game. We know what it's like to go through those motions, and we just want to help you guys out. So really appreciate you guys in here watching. We got 16 likes, 13 viewers. We're rocking by the fire here in beautiful Southern California, and we got the flag up. You know, it's a beautiful day for America. It's a beautiful day to talk fantasy football. Adam Young asks us, Mike Williams or DJ Dallas, PPR flex. Good looking out. What are you thinking, Johnny?
I'm gonna bounce this back off of you because I'm on the fence with this one.
I would stay with DJ Dallas. Over Mike Williams. I love Mike Williams. He's very up and down. I think the Raiders are a pretty decent matchup for your wide receiver, but he's been up and down. Even with Herbert, he's been up and down in usage. He's boom or bust. DJ Dallas coming in as the lead back for a very high potent offense. You want to get that into your lineup. So that's what I'd be going with there. Forever Rare. Love the name.
Yeah, this is the one I was hoping you were going to ask me.
CEH or Claypool at flex. I'm just going to take this one.
Oh, unreal. That's all I thought he was going there.
Just kidding, dude. Go for it.
Give me CEH in this one. I understand that, Le'Veon Bell is there, but honestly, I think that CEH is a little bit of a buy low right now because he is still putting up the yardage quietly. The touchdowns still haven't been there. But look, they have been true to when they signed Le'Veon Bell, they said, hey, we are using him more to just spell CH. He is not going to dig deeply into this backfield. This is CH. And we all kind of chuckled because we're like, right. Like, how are you just going to sit Le'Veon Bell on the sideline? Well, that's what they're doing. And I think that they continue to use CH. And
big brain here is that Adam Gase knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He got rid of Le'Veon Bell, dude.
Unreal.
I said this on the live show last Friday with Big Travy and I put a flag in the ground the way Neil Armstrong did in the moon. Le'Veon Bell is a mirage. If you can trade away Le'Veon Bell for the hype that people have, expecting him to be the Le'Veon Bell we saw getting 40-plus touches with the Pittsburgh Steelers a few years back, just setting records, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. If someone's going to buy him on that, sell him on that. CEH is their future. Le'Veon Bell is old news. Not only could he not get it done in New York, and I know we're going to say it was an awful team. Yeah, but we're saying Le'Veon Bell is supposed to be an elite talent. Even an elite talent playing on a not-so-good team should be, like, relevant or kind of pretty good. You were still taking Saquon Barkley in the top 3, expecting him to ball out, despite knowing how bad that Giants line and offense really was. Le'Veon Bell didn't give you any glimpse or suggestion that he had any of that still in his repertoire. I think he's going to be really good playing for a really good offense, but it's going to be because he's playing for a really good offense.
He's like the elite change of pace back.
Yes.
He's like the elite change of pace back.
And he's wise, and he can help out the younger guys, and he can still bust out.
Hold on. Do we get points for wisdom in fantasy?
You do in the contract component,
okay,
right? Like you're a
enough.
locker room guy. You help
Fair
raise the running back. Reminds me of Steven Jackson, St. Louis running back in the day, of him coming in and mentoring the young dudes. Le'Veon Bell can legitimately provide value to CEH, not just in terms of spelling it, but helping him go through film, helping him go on the
vision,
yeah, exactly,
really.
all that stuff. Le'Veon Bell's vision is unparalleled, but his legs are a little bit tired as he's gotten older and dealt with 40 touches a game for as many years as he did. So I think anybody who's still expecting to see Le'Veon Bell be the Le'Veon Bell of the Pittsburgh days hasn't adapted to the times. CEH is the one to carry the rock moving forward. In the first game we got to see them both getting it going last week against the New York Jets. Yeah, CEH didn't look great. He had like 9 carries, not a lot of yards per carry. The only running back who looked worse than him, though, was Le'Veon Bell. So to me, neither one moved ahead on that one. CEH is the number 1 back in Kansas City, and I think he's just going to keep getting better, as I think Le'Veon Bell is going to kind of get worse as it goes on. So I love CEH.
A pretty good take. I think I agree mostly with it. I mean, at the end of the day, the receiving guy for this offense, as much as that's in Le'Veon Bell's repertoire, it's CEH. They continue to be CEH, giving him the most carries.
Who do they want to be the star?
That they want CEH to be the star. They drafted him as such. They hyped him up as such. Once again, I think he's the elite change of pace guy. He's the guy they want to come in and mentor and be. And I thought he signed for the vet minimum. It's not like he came in and demanded a bunch of touches with his contract. That's what we have to pay attention to as well. And I think that's a big part of this, is that CEH is the future. They're not going to go do anything to damage CEH's confidence.
No.
I don't know why that would make any sense, this year to do. So, yeah, I think CEH is a huge buy low. I love that. Fleabit Peanut Monkey. I personally think everyone deserves a second chance. I agree with that. But AB is a scumbag. What do they say? What does Ned Stark says? Everything before the butt is bullshit. AB is a scumbag. So, and shouldn't be allowed to play. He wore out his welcome. I could see that in the
Fair
NFL
enough.
And should hold players to a higher standard. Yes, I mean, I think this is an argument for another day for sure. We talked about Tyreek Hill. We can talk about AB. We can talk about these players that should be held to a better standard than they are. They're also products of this, gigantic system that is the NFL that does not put their players first, and so you have to get what you take with that.
I want to say just one thing on this one, though, and this is a little bit of a broader take on it, and I want to take this moment on the Saturday show, though, to share a little bit of the philosophy behind sports and why we love it so damn much. And one of the components of sportsmanship is meritocracy, and it's the best gets their shot. If you are in sports the best player, you should be on the field. And that's generally what happens. And we see it with some of these head cases, whether it be Antonio Brown, whether it be Jameis Winston, whether it be Greg Hardy. Pick a guy. There's so many examples there. But you can't be just good enough. And we just talked about how Le'Veon Bell is going to have a role for the Chiefs, or really with any team, of being a locker room presence, being a leader, being somebody who can bring more to the team than you just bring on the field. And when we look at a situation like Antonio Brown, really any skill player or any player in the NFL, the difference between exceptional and good is it's so slim. And the difference between pretty good and out of the league is just as slim. It's right there. It's such a hairline fracture. And that's kind of a metaphor for life in a lot of these ways as well. Like, if you are so good, you're clearly the number 1 at whatever you do, accounting, aeronomics, football, cooking food. You can be an asshole and you'll still get work. But as soon as you're just not that much above the rest, as soon as you're a jack, as soon as you become just a guy, That's when that attitude and those intangibles you bring to the field matter so much. So if Antonio Brown is going to keep it going for a long time, he needs to do two things. One, he needs to bring it physically on day one and show that he's an elite wide receiver still. And then to maintain his role, he's going to need to get with the program and offer more than just his sheer speed and athleticism can to keep a role on this offense and to keep his value in the locker room as it is. Otherwise, it's going to be a short tenure.
I just wanted to make a comment that in the chat, Toby says, I live in KC, so I'm doing a league with friends. In KC, do I drop Lev Bell? Pollard is there. I just want to make a comment here of saying I would drop in this particular situation because you know that someone. Well, first, actually, I would try to trade him. If you're in a KC league, chances are probably someone's going to want him.
Don't drop Lev Bell.
Yeah, I wouldn't drop him. But I would try to search for a trade partner. If no one wants to trade for him, I would actually drop him.
And really quick pause. I just want to really quick hold that thought, please. Hold it tight. Because we've seen in our league of record, people do crazy things like drop really good players, and I understand why they've dropped that player. It doesn't make sense for their roster, but all you need to do is share within your group chat. And maybe you don't even use a group chat. Maybe you're on ESPN, NFL, Yahoo. There is a group chat function in there, I promise you. You might have never used it, but just throw out to the league. Send an email out to everyone. Says, who wants Le'Veon Bell? Best offer. Someone will hit you up. Just make that ask before you watch somebody drop half their wob on the guy you got rid of.
And that actually might drive up the price, too, by saying, letting the whole league, because then people are like, oh, I got to be the first one to do it. I tried to hold my pose there for as long as I could because you said freeze, and so but then Travis was cracking me up by putting the firewood there, so I couldn't do it any longer. So
I have no idea what we're talking about. But yeah, do not get rid of Le'Veon Bell for nothing.
Yeah.
Use the email function, use the chat function,
yes.
Use the tools that your platform provides just to ask them.
Yeah, no, I think Pollard has more upside in my mind than Le'Veon Bell without an injury already to CEH. There's just more upside for Pollard right now. Hamstrings, we've seen it. Like, they can go multiple weeks. So Pollard right now is in the driver's seat of very good value.
I could see him shutting Zeke down for the year because it's kind of a lost season for the Cowboys.
Sure, why not? What's the point? Yeah. You already have a $100 million contract invested in your running back.
And he's got wear on the tires.
I would pick up Pollard. I think Pollard's upside is through the roof. His value has never been greater than this Saturday show right now.
I'd also argue that with Pollard, we have deemed Pollard
this is the Pollard show
as an elite handcuff like an Alexander Madison for quite some time. And if I was running the Cowboys, I'd really want to see what I've got out of my backup handcuff running back right now as I make offseason moves coming up. Sit Zeke. You know what you got with him. Keep that tread on the tires. It's a lost season anyways. You might be firing your coach before the end of the year as is. See if you need to draft a new running back. Say, hey, your hamstring's still feeling a little funky, isn't it, Zeke? Let's keep you on the IR.
Yeah.
Let's keep you sitting over there.
Yeah, like right here, Toby Loba says, thing is I can drop Darnell Mooney or Jalen Reagor for Pollard. Yeah, you're dropping Mooney. You're dropping Mooney for Pollard right now. You're keeping Reagor. You're keeping Lev Bell, and you're doing that. Darnell Mooney is the ipso facto number 2 in Chicago. Not very great. Yeah,
hold on. I will say that
put it in the basket.
Hold on. I will say with Darnell Mooney, he leads his team in air yards. So, but it is Nick Foles throwing him those air yards. So they're not very completed air yards. And he does have a great matchup this week. So you'll know who Darnell Mooney is tomorrow because he's gonna get a touchdown. But I would go with Tony Pollard. I'd rather have a running back on my roster than a wide receiver 6 or 4, wherever he's at. Probably 5 or 6.
Wherever he is.
Yeah.
Just want to thank everybody for coming into the comments right now. I mean, we're about to hit the 2-hour mark on the Saturday show. Wow. Appreciate that. Everybody in here just giving us that life. We've got 17 likes, 12 viewers. Let's get those likes up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe. We are dropping new content every single day. Just got to give a big shout out to Toby Loba and Fleabit Peanut Monkey. They've been in here. Daniel as well. just like rocking this chat. Appreciate you guys. They're helping each other out. They don't even need us. Just here for fun.
And that's what we love about Whisper Nation, too, is the community coming together to help you work through any of these dilemmas you got, trade scenarios, startups. What are you going to do? We're here for you. But the Whisper Nation army is, too.
Well, and I was just going to say the Whisper Nation Listener League. You look at that chat, you know, like we're obviously busy. We're going through our days. We get into that chat. You look at that chat at the end of the night. They've been popping off. Just like talking smack, going to each other, helping each other out with some lineup decisions in the league. It's been great. Brett says freedom costs $1.05. Good to know. I've been looking for that price because they keep selling me freedom ain't free. I want to know what it costs.
So what does it cost, man?
But speaking of popping off, dude, I think we should.
Oh shit!
Yeah, let's pop into this champagne.
So let's show Whisper Nation what we got going over here. We got some champagne for you. It's popping up here. Oh, it's up there. We got one here. It's the matte black bottle. I saw this in the refrigerator, and I said, you know what's going to look good on camera? This. And now here it is. So look at that fine-ass bottle of bubbly. Get ready to come on at you.
We love it.
We love it. We love it. We're going to get this bitch popping here and pour it out. Let us know what you're drinking on this Saturday afternoon, evening time, morning, wherever the hell in the world you're at. We love to hear about it. Let us know where you're at. And hit us with the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We spent hours preparing the situation, and we would love to continue doing it again. And enough endorphin rushes will mean we do it for every week to come that we're allowed to.
Yeah, exactly.
So, just keep this shit rocking and rolling.
Daniel asks a question here, Johnny. He says, I left off for a bit, but I didn't hear the answer to Josh Jacobs for Hunt, or Josh Jacobs and Kareem Hunt for Hunt, or for Derrick Henry. Who wins this trade?
I would.
Ooh.
I think I would. Oh, hold on. What is in context? Who is the other running back? Because if I have another solid running back, then I actually don't mind Jacobs and Hunt for Henry. But giving up two running backs for Derrick Henry is.
I only swooped the mic from Johnny on this one because in our Dynasty League of Record for the Whisper Nation League, I have all these running backs. I have Josh Jacobs, Kareem Hunt, and Hunter Henry, and I would rather have Kareem Hunt and Josh Jacobs than Derrick Henry. The ceiling of Josh Jacobs and Kareem Hunt, honest to goodness, is about what Derrick Henry's is. Like, Derrick Henry can bust out for 200 yards and a couple touchdowns. We know this, but his floor is weirdly low. And Kareem Hunt and Josh Jacobs' ceiling is weirdly high. Like, Josh Jacobs has already gotten 3 touchdowns in a game this season, and Kareem Hunt is one of the most explosive halfbacks playing for such a run-heavy team in the NFL. Like, I think it's a little bit of a mirage to think that Derrick Henry has so much more to offer than even Josh Jacobs alone. And when you factor Kareem Hunt in there as well, I think whoever has Josh Jacobs and Kareem Hunt wins that situation.
Yeah, the thing about Derrick Henry that people don't realize is, yes, he's got monster RB1 weeks. When that dude doesn't score a touchdown, he balloons down like to really bad weeks outside of the RB2-3 range. So I think that the answer here, you know, depending on what you're dealing with, your roster construction, your record, all those things, these variables. But I always like getting two running backs, especially 2 running backs like that. The volume that Henry gets, Josh Jacobs gets similar volume. Doesn't get a lot of pass catching, but he gets similar volume to, yeah, sometimes more, not always. But I think Kareem Hunt makes it a nice little piece there because even when Chubb gets back, Kareem Hunt's going to be valuable. So redraft, I'd be rocking with this. Be a little more hesitant in Dynasty, maybe just because Henry, you know, is there. He's a focal point, but we'll see. Let's see. Mitchell says, worried about Deontay Johnson this week. I have Marvin Jones on my bench for my flex. I think you're rocking Deontay Johnson. I think you have to. If he's healthy, he's in there. You're going to be upset when he gets a concussion and leaves.
As of right now, he has the greatest matchup in all of football this weekend for wide receivers.
There you go. You heard it here first. All right, so Fleabit Peanut Monkey says, my only question is, what do you think about Nestlin Aguilar? I'm thinking about starting him in this week, and I know how effed up the spelling of his name is. That's all right. It just depends on your options, right? Like, who are you going to roll with?
I do like Nelson Aguilar this week. I know he disappointed last week. but the matchup is a lot better this week, and I actually do think. I mean, I do think this is more of a Ruggs game, but I do think that Nelson Aguilar will have a nice game this week.
Whisper Nation, we got 18 likes. And we got a fresh-ass bottle of Matte Black champagne that's coming here.
Yeah, we're gonna bring this show out with a little champagne.
We're gonna bring this. Are we closing? Are we rounding down?
I think we're gonna wind it down here. Yeah. Take a little champagne. The glue has left.
You know, Chelsea's going to be watching some of the political speeches coming up. It is the United States of America. We respect that entirely. If we could get 20 likes, though, here, we're going to be popping off this bottle here and bringing it straight to your doorstep. If you get 20 likes, we're going to be pouring out champagne, old-ass champagne, all over your mother's front porch way. So go ahead and hit us with those 20 likes. I'm totally lying. I'm popping this bottle regardless of how many likes that we have. But if we get to 20, we would love to see it. So come on, hit us with those likes.
Get those likes, baby.
Already. We're going to be filling this one up here.
Good luck. And like we said, you can always catch us tomorrow. We are live an hour and a half before the games go live. And then we're going to be rocking and rolling here. And here we go.
Oh, here we go.
We're popping it.
Popping bottles. Popping Bortles. Oh!
Yeah, baby. That's what we do around here. This is a Saturday
show. There was no
show.
actual cat.
There was no cat harmed in the making of this live stream.
Not one.
I think we got some right there.
Yeah, I think. I've been drinking the
champagne of beers.
Champagne of beers. So.
Yeah. I mean, look, Whisper Nation, we appreciate you guys with us. We appreciate everybody watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and catch us tomorrow when we go live for the matchup. Or for the live stream there. A gent opting out says, my friend told me now that Kamala Harris is president, she will make Colin Kaepernick the Dallas QB. Maybe.
Hey,
maybe that could happen. We don't know.
Hey, it could. That's a great night. Dude, the internet is undefeated, man.
Appreciate the like. We got 19 likes. One more.
One more. Come on, we're trying to get to 20.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Cheers to Whisper Nation. Cheers to
Whisper Nation.
America. Cheers, America. We love you guys so much and appreciate you guys so much. I'm being handed 2 mics here. I don't know. You want to hit the end stream?
We're closing it down here. This is the end of the first Saturday show. Hell yeah, everybody in here jumping
20 likes.
in, being a part of this. 20 likes. Can we close it on 20 likes? We got
20.
A gent opting out. 20 likes is there. Same. We're going to close. We got to get to 20 before. We're going to keep doing weird shit until we hit that number. And you have you don't want to see this. It's going to be off-putting. It's going to be challenging. It's going to make you...
One more like
this shit and get one more like. All right, don't make me log into here. We're doing it to 20.
Oh, Toby's saying we got 20.
FTW.
I think we're laggy. We might be a little laggy. Toby's saying we got 20. And Tobo, give him a trade.
Tobo. I'm going to hit this on here. Man, we love you all so much. We don't like to lose, so I'm going to make sure that I give us all a extra like here.
One more.
Ready, set. Oh my God, I can do this. 20 done. We got 20 likes here. It's coming in. Whisper Nation, thanks for being a part of the Saturday show. We'll be back here at another point in time. The Saturday show has no limits, though.
Catch us tomorrow, 90 minutes before. We love you.
We love you, Whisper
Peace
Nation.
out, Whisper Nation.